the greatest band in the world, Tenacious D.
You know, our first movie cost $21 million.
Is that true? Did it cost that much?
Yeah. And then we made 11. How much did this one cost?
This one cost $53.72. And we're gonna make $0. But what? That's just numbers.
I know.
Why are we talking
He
about the numbers?
brought it up.
Oh, he did?
Said we spared no expense.
No, I said expense was fair.
That was very satisfying. Thanks for coming, you guys. This is the premiere. This is the first. This is the real. This is like the. I had some jangly nerves. Especially there's some parts I was like, oh shit.
For example, what were some of these parts?
Which parts?
Yes.
I mean, you know, it borders on pornography
And
sometimes.
then it crosses the border into pornography. Yes.
But yeah, it just felt right. It felt like, you know, it was. What other parts other than the pornography felt?
I think when we assassinate Donald
Oh
Jr.
no!
Spoiler alert. See this one?
That's not an assassination. It was self-defense.
Okay.
He was reaching for the green thing.
We had to. Well, we did.
We didn't do it. The
Yeah,
robot.
we did.
It was the robot. There's so many layers of defense for us on that. But we were worried. Anyway, I don't even feel like I should say anything with some of the parts. But anyway.
No, I think you
There's
should.
parts. There's parts.
I think you should. I have to ask, where in God's name did the idea of this movie come from?
I mean, obviously, it just came from the times. It felt like a thing that we obviously it was because of right now, what's happening right now. We were gonna do a different album. We had a plan for a whole different concept, and then the shit started. I think you know when it started was on the escalator, coming down the escalator.
Since the first
That
time
was the
when you
first
declared?
seed. Yeah, and then and then it just seemed to sort of.
But we were going to do some kind of animated thing before that.
You know what's weird is some of the stuff fell into place and seems like we put it in just a few days ago. Like when Stormy Daniels' book revealed that
The mushroom head?
the mushroom head. Oh my God, we made it a mushroom cap
Yeah.
before. Like we was like Nostradamus that one. People are gonna think.
Art imitating life. I think.
That's like, yeah.
What was the first song you wrote for this? I think he knows who you guys are. The first song you wrote for this.
It was basically chronological.
Yeah, I think
We went sock and a shoe and a sock and a shoe and a sock and a shoe. We came up with the first one, which was Jump a Shark, Nuclear Holocaust, and then Hope the Dog, and then we wrote that song Hope for that episode, and then we went to the next episode and so on and so forth.
So you wrote it didn't come to you in pieces at all? Like one plot point, you just decided to knock it all out in chronological?
Well, it kind of lived. It actually was one for a long time. Just one episode was kind of a pitch to make an animated show, and then it was two for a long time.
Well, early on we knew like the skeleton of the first three, that it was going to be that one, and then that they were going to definitely go to a clan of cave women in a cave, and then we were definitely going to go into space and break up, and then it got a little foggy.
Got fuzzy.
But it took a long time. It took years. Like we would sit on one, and then months would go by. But it took a long time to draw the pictures, and then.
Didn't think it'd actually be possible.
There's only 4 people working on the thing, so John Spiker is here. John, are you here? John Spiker is the producer. So he produced all the music and all of the radio play aspects and edited it all, and it was just hundreds of hours. And then Michael Molina, are you here? Michael Molina on color, all those beautiful colors. of hours because usually it's there's lots more people involved. So it took us years to do it. Yeah.
I was wondering too, just about as you were writing each piece, would you guys voice each piece as you wrote each chapter, or how that all worked out?
It started as kind of a radio play, and then we would improv. We'd have plot points, kind of like where we're going. But it was usually a big mess, and then John would.
You know what it was? There was no writing whatsoever. There was just talking, which is a kind of writing. We would talk it out. The three of us, me, Kyle, and John, would just talk, and then we would crack the code, and then we would just go in,
jump in the booth,
and then just like improv around that idea, and and then John would do tons of editing, and
make it seem like
because we would go on for hours of recording, and then condense it down to little bite-sized 10-minute chunks. Make it straight.
And then was it the song then, or then the drawings?
And then the song, and then the drawings would be drawn to the radio play. Makes it easier because you gotta hear the voice of the face you're trying to make the expression to the sound.
But that really progressed. It started, I think, you had 200 or so drawings on the first episode, and then by the last you had 600.
I don't know if you noticed that, maybe it got a little more. I think it flows pretty natural though. It doesn't seem. But I did feel like I was getting better at drawing by the end of the 2 year process. The drawings got a little more complex.
Really?
What is that one complex sequence when the stone's being moved out of the pyramid?
Yeah.
That actually is a really kind of cool piece of storytelling in that sequence.
There was a little bit of actual animation, but you're not talking about that in that part. You're talking about the storytelling of the drawings, right? Yeah, there is some movement. I feel like when we've watched it literally like 100 times now, and I never get tired of it. And I was wondering, is it just because it's our own farts that smell good to us, but it's such a relief to hear people laughing at it, and they enjoy the smell also.
I think a little high from the smell right now, but I guess I was wondering about this too. Did you know that you're going to structure each one to end with kind of a cliffhanger, because that's what happens? Because there is like this sort of thing where it feels like a radio.
Doesn't it seem like every show now has to have cliffhangers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seems like kind of a must. And so I think we're kind of playing off that a little bit.
Yeah, we always wanted to get them back for more. I mean, but you're right. When we started, we were like, we're just gonna do one episode, and then we'll shop it around town to the Netflixes and the Amazon, and someone's gonna and want the whole
They're gonna
series.
jump on it.
And nobody wanted it.
Is that true? Did you actually
That's
go-
true.
Okay.
And then we were like, you know what though? We love the smell of this thing so far. Let's just do the whole thing homemade style. And then, and then we did this.
Well, there was that kind of breakthrough where the storyboard could tell the story. I mean, it didn't
Right.
have to be. It just seemed to work.
It starts to feel like it's animation, even though really it's just a slideshow
It's slideshow.
to a radio play.
It's moving pictures. That's a movie.
That's
Yeah, they don't move very fast, but they do move.
That Ken Burns effect. We got a lot of mileage. on
We
that.
got a lot out of that Ken Burns.
Thanks, Ken. That was our only effect we had.
Yeah, this could be on PBS. I see what you're going at here. But what I was thinking too, is what I said to you tonight and in the introduction, it really did feel like it's influenced by that kind of spate of animation from the early part of the 70s, where they brought kind of the purposes of adult storytelling to animation. I wonder if that was inspiration for you a little bit.
You mean like Fritz the Cat? Sure. It's not as advanced as those drawings. I mean, just in terms of the storytelling. I mean, I thought more about Beavis and Butthead, to be honest. Because the brilliance of Beavis and Butthead is that they never were really good drawings, but they were really funny drawings, and I was like, we can make really funny drawings without being masters of the craft. And so
It was the same thing for him, though. He basically drew like a frog baseball. He drew all those pictures himself
exactly.
while he was at work, because he thought nobody else could do it, nobody else could get it. And you realize well, why not just do them all himself?
Yeah, but a lot of this, storytelling-wise, was just taken from the great post-apocalyptic films from the 80s. Like, you know, your Terminator, your...
Was the boy and his dog part of it too? Because I thought about that a little
A
bit.
Boy and His Dog. There's another post-apocalyptic. I didn't think of that, but yeah, no,
It's subconscious.
Road Warrior. And then there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of references to like Wizard of Oz, obviously, and then there was a little Bugs Bunny sprinkled in there with the Yoo-hoo. And yeah, it's just like a Frankenstein of things from our youth.
Stolen.
Yeah, it's a lot of Frankenstein things going on here. The thing that made me kind of scream when I first saw it was the crack-a-lack-a-ding-dong. Which made me, you don't even have to see it, just hear that name. Where'd that name come from?
Crack-a-lack-a-ding-dong.
I actually remember you coming up with it, and I thought, that's not going to be it, is it?
Well, when we did our first movie, The Pick of Destiny, we there was a part where when we saw something scary, and I was like, fuck-a-like-a-ding-dong. It came from fuck-a-like-a-ding-dong, and then crack-a-like-a-ding-dong. I don't know.
The natural outgrowth.
I think it comes from boom shaka-laka-laka, boom shaka-laka-laka, boom shaka-laka-laka.
Yeah,
That thing.
okay. No, but I guess
Stripes.
Stripes, yeah. Which also comes from like R&B.
There it is.
And there's the first Tenacious D hip-hop song in this, which I thought was kind
Yes.
of funny.
Thank you.
Talk about that a little bit. So that was really interesting to sort of break from form a little bit
Well,
with that.
It was because initially we were like, what would Jables Jr., and I was thinking like, my sons don't really like rock. My sons are way more into hip hop and the rap. And I was like, so Jables Jr. is probably way deeper into the rap, even though he's 80 years old now. That would have been what he was into when he was a kid. And I just thought it would be really fun to jump into a new genre for his song, like a demonic rap about the end of times and the power.
Well, I guess I was thinking too, there's so many different song styles, which made me think of the Wizard of Oz too, because each section of that used a different kind of song to sort of get the emotional tone of the scene across. Is that what you were doing too?
It's always just desperation in there, really. I'm so glad a song happens.
Well, the songs,
They were.
was it like the way that Wizard of Oz used the songs? I just thought it was just so funny every time a song came around and a new character had to say, but before that happens, I'm gonna sing a song. It's always so funny. Just the conceit
really-
of musicals in general, it's always so clunky when someone starts to sing.
But it actually
You mean
makes
like
it not
when
a musical
When he says
because
hope is lost, and then there's this.
lost hope. I'd say it twice.
Yeah. On the album, there's actually lyrics to that song, When I'm Going Into Space and He's Left Behind, but it didn't work in the movie. But that'll be a special
Director's
only
cut.
on the record.
And that song is called "Fuck Yo-Yo Ma."
We really go into the...
Yes, he makes an appearance in the.
He does, but we go way deeper into the Yo-Yo Ma, Kyle's jealousy, because he knows that I'm jamming with Yo-Yo Ma.
And as I was telling you too, the celebrity cameos are kind of the greatest stuff in it. Maybe that Elon Musk scene, which also could be ripped from today's headlines too.
Yes, I know. I do think about if they ever hear about it, like, will Richard Branson raise an eyebrow and say, what? Will someone tell him? Daddy, Tenacious D has made a show with you. Daddy?
Is he Australian?
I never did that.
Sound that out.
He is now, I guess. And just the whole Johnny Depp thing too. Was that kind of something you were using to combat?
That just seemed like it was sort of riding itself. We were in space. I needed to get back to Earth, and it's like, how am I gonna get out of this tight situation? Space pirates. That's obviously gotta be, Johnny D. And the love triangle made sense, and then it was like, yeah. A lot of this was just sort of following our nose. When it was all done, I was like, wow, it really seems like a well-crafted script. Everything fell into place, but it really was just sort of...
I mean,